Myself, nothing exceptional about myself. I wasn't even, to my credit, I was not a lawyer until my 40s. Before that, I'd been on active duty for a while as an Army reservist, as a computer technician, worked in construction before that, went to law school in my 40s and got commissioned as a JAG attorney. I ended up retiring as a regular Army officer, but becoming a JAG attorney, just about the time the Kosovo War was starting, I started reading antiwar.com, and that'd be one of the things I'd suggest, like Bill just said, you need to inform people, and to have informed people, you have to have information. Antiwar.com was one of the best sites I found way back then, and still continues today, bringing very good news on what is actually taking place. Consortium News is another one. I get published on them once in a while, on both of them. The Ron Paul Institute. I'm not a libertarian, been a Republican, been a Democrat. I've shed all that partisanship because that's not the problem. The problem is the partisanship, because it covers up the fact that the government is out of control. It's not the parties. So we need to realize that it's the government, not the parties, that we need to be pointing fingers at. So anyway, when 9/11 come along, I was on active duty as a JAG attorney out of Fort Snelling, and it was really apparent that we were going to go way overboard on this. And so anyway, I just kept tracking things. We picked up all the people, and immediately it was apparent that the Bush administration, and I might have even called myself Republican yet, or at least leaned that way at that time. After the Bush administration, never again. But it was clear that they had an entirely different agenda. We started getting hints of the legal opinions being written, and the whole idea of the unitary executive theory, which is plain, just another word for dictatorship. Make no mistake about it. It's dictatorship. We have Republican Federalist Society, which I once belonged to, lawyers who have proposed that we need to be reading the works of Carl Schmitt, the Nazi legal jurist, for this state of emergency that we're in. In other words, we need to adopt practices of the fascists for today, which I hope is readily apparent is totally fallacious and sinister. So I saw what was coming out of the Bush administration. They picked up all these people in Afghanistan. Rumsfeld saying they're the worst of the worst. They had almost 900 people at one time, and having been paying attention to what goes on in low-intensity conflict for a number of years, I knew better than what they were saying about this. So anyway, I hung on as a JAG attorney, and when the chance came, I volunteered to go and be a defense attorney in the military commissions. And there I really had my eyes open on both the incompetence of the CIA, who really runs Guantanamo, the incompetence of the military, the covering up of their own incompetence, and on and on and on. But in the course of that, I had to do a lot of research on what the United States is now going back to claiming is our domestic common law war. And that's a civil war case. It's been the one time during our history the entire northern states, not the South, but the northern states were under martial law. And anybody saying even something embarrassing about the Army was put under military arrest and put in front of military commissions. Or somebody shouting out that Lincoln's an incompetent would get you in front of a military commission. That's how bad it was. The Supreme Court got rid of that precedent immediately after the Civil War, and nobody brought it up again until Dick Cheney and John Yoo and David Addington decided, hey, this worked good. It worked once during the Civil War. We can impose this system of repression on the United States again, using this as precedent. And that's still what the United States is arguing in Guantanamo. This is our domestic common law war. Well, you got to put all these things together in a mosaic to really see where it's going. So then at the same time, we have the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act providing that people who are suspected of terrorism can be put in will be put in military detention pending disposition under the law of war. So you ask, which law of war? Well, it's our domestic common law of war. So right back in the Civil War, repression act is liable to be pulled up any time, just depending upon how much they think they can get by with. And immediately then, you have people, dissidents, who are being put into military detention on the grounds that they're suspected of aiding the terrorists, not even being terrorists, and we're in a system of police state. And that's all been created now, and it's just a matter of when is the other shoe going to drop.